There's not just one food source that's available for these guys that's going to do their lifetime. Variety is key. Every single different food source that you can give to your mourning geckos is going to have a much different nutritional value to it. So if you're feeding just one live food, that's not giving it everything it needs. So welcome back to Northern Exotics. On this YouTube channel we talk all things reptile related, whether it be specific species care, breed your own live food, reptile life hacks. We cover it all with the most scientifically proven, most current, up-to-date information. If that's something you're interested in, I'd really appreciate it if you did hit subscribe. And if you are here for the mourning geckos, we've got an absolutely amazing, huge mourning gecko build coming up really soon. You're not going to want to miss that. Do you guys breed mourning geckos? Because I have a little problem and I need your help, and I'd love for you to comment in the comment section below about this. As you can see in the corner of the enclosure, this happens all the time. They adhere their eggs because mourning geckos, they're parthenogenic. They don't need a male to be able to reproduce. It's a fascinating trait. But my ones up here, they lay their eggs on the gap for the door. So they adhere to the side wall and the front door. So I can't open the door. Is there a little trick or a trait that you guys know about that could stop that from happening? So most people think you can just buy a powdered diet for your mourning geckos and think, bang, that's it, that'll do. Its whole life will be stuck on this powdered diet. Well, that's wrong. You're not going to kill your animal doing that, but it's not going to live the best possible life by doing that. Every single different item of food, every different brand of food, every different live food has a different nutritional value to it. So if you want to give your animal everything so that it's extremely healthy, it's going to live its best possible life, then you need to give it a variety. But what else is there to feed rather than the powdered diets? Well, we'll start with the powdered diets, quite simply because in the wild these are going to be running around the trees all day long. They're probably never in their life going to see the ground level. So up in the trees they're drinking the tree saps, they're drinking all the little goos that come out of the trees and off all the plants. That's also attracting all the fruit flies, so they're actually eating the fruit flies as well. Now they're not eating the fruit flies by mistake. They're actively hunting for these fruit flies. Because stuff like the fruit flies, they've got a lot more protein inside them, which can help repair their body really well. It can help them grow. It can build strength in their muscles. Protein is absolutely vital, especially for baby mourning geckos when they're growing. But how can we replicate this in captivity? Well, there's loads of different brands of powdered diets out there that can help with that. Stuff like pangea, they have a wide variety. I've only got two here to show you at the minute. We've got the apricot, which my adults absolutely love apricot. But then we've also got pangea with insects. With insects. And now that's going to have a lot more protein inside of it, but it's still not going to be naturalistic protein. There's also rapashy. They make an absolute amazing array of different powders. So you've got here, this is the rapashy cherry bomb. Mine aren't massively keen on that, to be honest. We've got the Crested Gecko mango supplements, because Crested Gecko diet is what you're basically feeding these guys. And you've also got the Crested Gecko diet with bugs and grubs, which again, bugs and grubs is going to have a lot more protein for your babies. These are made quite simply, it's just a powdered diet that you can mix in with water and give it to them that way. Now me personally, how do I feed them? I mix it into like a slurry sort of consistency, like a soup consistency. And these are arboreal lizards. They stick to the side. They're absolutely amazing. They're dead active. I've got little feeding ledges. You can see that one just there that I've made. This was just thrown together really, really quickly. Normally, ideally, I'd like to get it painted up really nicely. If you want to see a video on how to actually make these feeding ledges and stick them to the side of the enclosures, I'll leave you a cracking little video just up there. But that is basically how you feed the powdered forms to the actual animals, but giving them that natural enrichment, chasing prey down, finding the fruit flies, that's an absolute key aspect. Not just that, but what do you feed your fruit flies? Well, we'll get onto that now. Now, fruit flies, they can be a pain sometimes. You buy them in these little tiny cups out of your reptile shop, nothing special, and you've normally only got 5 or 6 in there, and you sit there thinking, well, that's not going to be enough to last my mourning gecko colony for a full year. What do I do? Well, you get this, and I just leave it just here. You can see I've got a heat lamp there for my boa constrictor that's underneath there, and I just leave it for a few weeks, and then after a few weeks you end up with all these little cocoons, and now these are all going to turn into fruit flies. Eventually this will be swarming with fruit flies, and that's going to be good enough to start feeding to them. But not only good enough to feed to the mourning geckos, you can actually culture your own fruit flies. You need fruit flies to be able to start that. So when that's really up and running, really booming, I then make a fruit fly colony which will supplement all of them. How do you do that? Well, you basically got a couple of products I picked up off eBay. I'll try and leave some links down in the description below. This is wood wool. It's called Excelsior. It's cheap and cheerful. It costs about £3 for that big bundle there. It's dead compact. And I picked up this powder just here as well. This is a powdered diet that you mix with water, boiling water, put it in the bottom of a pint plastic cup, stick a big handful of that on the top of it, and then put a vented lid on the top, just like this one here. You can see it's got loads of little holes in it. Yeah, a vented lid like that. And then I put some fruit flies in. I stick around about 50 fruit flies in. When that's booming, that's nothing out of that little colony. And then just leave that for a month and that'll start booming. Then you've got free fruit flies to be able to give to your mourning gecko colony. Fruit flies are extremely high in protein. It adds that natural enrichment, that natural hunting instinct of running around, finding all the fruit flies. You can never put too much in there because they won't stop eating them until they're all gone. If you can't get your hands on fruit fly colonies, I would highly recommend finding a different live source food for your mourning geckos. They will virtually eat anything that is arboreal up in the trees and stuff. So pinhead crickets, tiny first stage baby crickets. You can get thousands of them for like £2 in a little tub in your local reptile shop. If your reptile shop hasn't got them, you can find them online. The live food hub is a great aspect for them in the UK. Rainbow mealworms in the US, I think they do them as well. They're just tiny, tiny pinhead crickets. And again, they go absolutely wild for them. The biggest thing with pinhead crickets that I would highly recommend for everyone to do is gut load. There's loads of aspects of gut load to do with it. What is gut load? Gut load is where you're feeding your live food an extremely healthy diet so that when you feed your live food to your mourning geckos, they're eating an extremely healthy diet. The gut load that I use personally is the new Reptile Systems insect food, simply because they have got so many minerals and vitamins and everything in here that is going to be way more than what they'd actually have in the wild. That's got everything that they're going to love. So how often and how much do you feed your mourning geckos? Well, that varies for me slightly. There's only a slight change between their ages. So the babies would get more bugs and grubs style powder than the adults. The adults will get more fruity sorts of style powders more often. They still get the bugs and grubs, just not as much as the babies. Now I make sure for a fact that 6 days a week I have got powder in there at all times. Obviously mixed with the water, the slurry, it's all going to be in there 6 days a week. I like to give them a starved day, and that's just to increase their enrichment really. That's what they naturally have in the wild. And then it gives them that aspect of hunting. They're going out looking for food. It gives them something to do that keeps their mind active, keeps their body active. That's one thing that I highly rate for these guys. 1 day a week, they won't have anything. The 6 days a week, they will always have the powdered style supplements in there all the time, fresh as well. So I'll change it every other day depending on the temperatures and stuff. Sometimes it dries out a bit quicker and it'll get changed a bit more frequently. And with the live food, I give it to them twice a week. 2 days a week they will get live food, and I don't give them too much because I do space it out over the 2 different days and they've always got access to the powder. But when I do introduce the fruit flies, it's amazing to watch them just go insane looking for them. So if you've been around on my channel an awful long time, you'll notice that we're in a different shot here. Well, why is that? Let me show you something really special. If you like mourning geckos, you're going to love the huge, absolutely massive mourning gecko enclosure that we're currently building. If you want to see that, make sure you hit subscribe. I can't wait for that to get finished. It's absolutely amazing. We've got full fog systems, misting systems, lighting systems, loads of stuff going on that. I'm hoping that to be the best mourning gecko enclosure in the world. Second to the nature, obviously. But that's all from me. If you want to see some more mourning gecko videos, stick some suggestions down in the comments down below. And thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you all. Peace.